Alright, so our project is called Osmosis, the Naked Egg, by Amy Berg, Emily Bird, Aaron Cochin, Lauren Williams, and Taylor Woolard. Osmosis is the process of fluid passing through a semi-permeable membrane, moving from an area of a high concentration to a low concentration. So osmosis occurs when two solutions of different concentrations are separated by a semi-permeable membrane. But what is a semi-permeable membrane? It is a membrane that allows the passage of some particles but blocks the passage of others. So we explained osmosis through our demo called the naked egg. To make a naked egg, you need to chemically strip the outer membrane of a raw egg, which is the hard part that you crack open. Materials are raw egg, graduated cylinder, vinegar, sugar water, and food coloring. Okay, so to make the naked egg, you need to place the egg in a graduated cylinder and cover it with vinegar. Make sure it's fully covered with vinegar. And you can use any kind of vinegar. Usually the vinegar in stores are about 5% acetic acid and 95% water. Alright, so after you put the egg in the vinegar, you should see bubbles start to form around the shell of the egg. Those are CO2 bubbles. So next, just leave the egg in there overnight, and the next day, switch out the vinegar with new vinegar, and you should notice that the egg is already starting to look translucent, and it'll feel kind of slimy. So after a couple of days, it should look like this, and it's very slimy and very, very delicate. You had stripped away the outer part, the outer shell, and all that's left is the semi-permeable membrane. Now that you've made the naked egg, you're going to continue the osmosis process. Place one egg in supersaturated sugar water and the other in plain water, and dye these with blue food coloring so you can see the change at the end. So let them sit overnight, and the next day take them out, and you should notice that the one in the plain water is much bigger, and one in the supersaturated sugar water is much smaller. This is because the water molecules go through the semi-permeable membrane of the naked egg and have it grow larger. So when you cut the egg open, you see that the fluid inside the egg has turned blue, the same as the water on the outside. But compared to the other one, the supersaturated sugar water egg, it is smaller because the sugar molecules are bigger, so they can't exactly go through the semi-permeable membrane of the naked egg. So when you cut it open, the fluid is clear, and the only thing that is blue is the semi-permeable membrane of the egg. Alright, so the bubbles you saw forming on the shell are the carbon dioxide gas. The shell of the egg is made up of CaCO3, which is calcium carbonate. And so the acid breaks down the calcium carbonate into calcium and carbonate parts. And the carbonate parts react with the air, which formed carbon dioxide, which is the bubbles you saw on the egg. And the calcium part just floats around in the solution, which you will see if you ever do this experiment. By the process of osmosis, the egg will get bigger and it gets more delicate. Just like if you blow up a balloon and you blow more and more air into it, there's a point where it needs to stop, or else it's gonna, pop. So the egg is very delicate, so be very, very careful with it. So in our experiment, the membrane allows water molecules and the vinegar molecules to pass through it, which causes it to be bigger. But not the sugar molecules, because the sugar molecules are just too big that it will not pass through the egg's semi-permeable membrane. So that is the end of our experiment, and this is just a picture of the before and after of the naked egg, before we put in the vinegar and after, and that's how much bigger it gets by the process of osmosis. So if you ever want to make a naked egg, just get yourself some vinegar and some eggs and you're all good. Thanks for listening.